So, some interesting information regarding the localization decisions for Trails in the Sky the First has recently come to light. Davidvinc here, another JRPG content creator, made a tweet here basically shining some light on some things. Tom, a former Xseed employee, chimed in on the Trails publishing kerfuffle. I like that word, I need to use that word a lot more. It seems Falcom doesn't do exclusivity with anyone, not even Nisa. For a series as lore-rich as Trails, you would think they would want consistency and continuity. That is an interesting viewpoint, because yes, for a series like Trails, which prides itself on its continuous lore and world building, that in a sense I can see where that's coming from, where you would want one company to be essentially as in the know and connected to the series as Falcom is themselves, but I'm not necessarily sure how big of a deal this really is. Maybe I'm just not looking at it from the right perspective, but I don't really see an issue necessarily with all these different companies working on the translations of these games. In a perfect world, Falcom would just handle the translations themselves, and who knows their games better than, well, the creators? But in a sense, all that translation does is it takes the script that Falcom creates and then translates that for whatever audience that they're wanting to then sell the games to. So really, I don't think you need a pulse on the games themselves, but let's go over Tom's comment here and see what he has to say. Tom, formerly of Xseed here. I just wanted to issue something of a correction, in as much as he is able to, since he left Xseed in 2018. Okay, so that's about 6 years ago. Can't really say any of this for certain, but still, one of Xseed's founders did indeed move over to GungHo a long while back. So Xseed and GungHo had, and presumably still have, a really solid relationship with one another, and for a while, a few Xseed employees followed him over. But as far as I know, most, if not all of them, left GungHo at this point. There may only be one single former Xseed member over there now, and if there's more than that, it's no more than 3 people, maybe? Either way, it's not like individuals within Xseed own the rights to Xseed's translation of old Falcom games. To be frank, even Xseed doesn't own the rights to Xseed's old translations from Falcom games. What? They don't? Falcom does? Hello? Bombshell? I always assumed that Xseed did. I think we all did. So this whole time, Falcom has owned the translation to the older games and they've just never done anything with it? I think that's more of a bombshell than what this other plot is going on over this other side plot. Well, this is the real main plot here. Wow. Falcom could have let Xseed publish the games with those old translations or even given them to Nisa, but instead they let GungHo handle the publishing for whatever reason. Knowing Falcom, I'm pretty sure it's just because that's what Falcom does. They play the field. I mean, I guess that makes sense. If a new company comes along and wants to try publishing their stuff overseas, they just let them. I mean, look at how many collaborations with all these random gacha games and mobile games that Falcom just hands over the creative licensing for and just says, yeah, you do whatever you want with these characters, sure. I don't think Falcom does exclusive partnerships with overseas publishers, because I know, yes, we have talked about in the past about Nisa essentially becoming Falcom's main branch over here. But that I guess that is interesting that Falcom has no exclusive partnerships with companies. They just kinda go wherever. If somebody offers, they just are like, yeah, sure. I don't see really an issue with that. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just a matter of perspective that I'm just not seeing it from the right angle. Maybe GungHo offered them a lot of money or even helped fund development of the game, who knows. Either way, it's very likely it'll use Xseed's old translation from what we've seen, albeit probably with an extra editing pass for good measure and to clean it up for additional voice recording and such. That would be my guess anyway, and I'm sure Xseed has given their blessing for this, even though they technically wouldn't have had to. Anyway, this is all supposition on my part since I haven't worked there since 2018, but I felt it was worth noting at least. There is still some good insight into things But again, Tom here, despite it giving us this pretty good insight into how things have gone throughout the years, we really don't know. We really still don't know what's going on in GungHo and what happened behind the scenes. But I guess to loop back to David's original point, is it really such a bad thing to jump around between all these different localization teams? Now, I know there's all the different hoopla in regards to some people prefer Xseed's translation, a lot of people really don't like Nisa's translation. There are even some people out there that want to go to the full AI route. But setting aside translation quality, I do think that overall, outside of a couple of few niche instances, I think the translations have been pretty good. And honestly, as far as getting the main crux of all the lore and the story delivered to the player in a nice, understandable, easy to digest way, I don't think I personally have any complaints with how things have been handled. And I'm not too bothered by Falcom going to GungHo and giving them the localization rights to the Sky remake over Xseed, or Nisa, or any other company. Falcom are the owners of this IP at the end of the day, and they get to decide who does what with it. And until we see otherwise, I think this game will be in good hands. I am not too familiar with GungHo as far as their work personally, but if it's basically being based off of Xseed's script with some slight tweaks here and there to add in things from the future games that get referenced, or that are very loosely referenced that weren't essentially thought of all the way back then, I'm not worried. Until I have a reason to be worried, I won't be worried. But overall, this was still a very interesting read, and is definitely something to think about going forward. So that'll be it for me. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like on it. Comment down below if you guys have any extra insight that maybe I missed or was not informed of. And hey, let's have a discussion down below. Do you guys think this is an issue? Are you guys worried over Falcom's willy-nilly decisions in regards to the localization of their games? Or is this not really a big deal? And last but not least, a very special thank you to all my current channel members and supporters over on Patreon. Anybody who wants to support me, feel free to check out any of the links below. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care of yourselves, everybody. Stay spicy.
All right, what's next?